Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'm on a journey to grow and expand here on YouTube. This is a video a day series where I'm posting one video every single day to YouTube as best as I can, disciplined and consistent. So, in hopes to have an experiment of growing and hopefully reaching more people than not on YouTube to ultimately have more freedom creatively and mentally and physically, all of the things. So, if that is something you're interested in tuning into, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, maybe share and comment some of your challenges and experiences, and maybe some experiments that you're doing within this year of 2025. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the inside. Bye! Hi, hey y'all, day 5. And I thought I would bring you along to my stretching session because my hips have been hurting all day. And I think that has a little bit to do with maybe the micro bike ride we took yesterday because hips haven't been hipping in a while. And yeah, or maybe it's just because last night before bed I did some stretching, which I haven't done in a while as well. So maybe there's a two-parter here. And also, I firmly believe that everything is connected. So therefore, if hips are tight, something else is also going on, mind, body, spirit-wise. So we're just gonna dive into that today and bring you along so that you too can know that you don't have to be perfect to do something that is good for your body. Like, it doesn't have to be a full-on yoga session. It doesn't have to be a full-on something in order to do it. And I will show you exactly what I mean. So I thought I'd bring you along with me on my little stretch sesh journey because not only is it something I'm doing today, but it all accounts and amounts for the greater whole of the day, and because I do have a responsibility now to make a video every day for January, that I only have a certain amount of time to be able to record and then upload and edit and then upload to YouTube and all the things. So of course it's going to take time. And your girl has a circadian rhythm that really hits hard when it gets dark. And guess what? It's getting dark way earlier because it's winter now here in Florida, and it gets dark roughly around 5:40 at night, and the sun is completely set. And when I mean set, it is set, and my body just wants to go. So therefore, we only got one shot at this, and I can't really, as much as I want to, make it perfect. I just can't. I simply can't, and that's okay. And no, and my kitty cat wants to also be in it because she's interested in what we're talking about, which is more than okay. But also, you're gonna make things run away, and I need the camera right there, so let's not do that. Anywho, so the point of all of this is not only because we're connecting the dots here, we're doing things semi imperfectly, perfectly imperfect. It all amounts to the greater whole, and I firmly believe that if you are working on yourself in whatever way feels good for you on that day, then everything else just falls into place. And just as long as you can be consistent and disciplined in the small ways that you can be, then something good will always come out of it. And what I really wanted to discuss, because of what I'm doing today, is the fact that I tend to have an on and off again relationship with yoga. And when I don't find myself on the mat, I do feel like other things in my life tend to tense up and I'm not as flexible. Um, Therefore, whenever I do get to my mat, I'm really tight. And I think that goes to say for a lot of people who do think about yoga, or what I would like to consider, or give you a different viewpoint to look at, is just a deep stretch. And yoga is that. I think it's much more than that, but also if I can break it down really simply, it is just a deep stretch, and by following your breath with movement, you can find yourself in a bit of stillness, silence, and presence, all of which I feel like if we all could take some time to appreciate those things, that is where I thrive. And I feel like you would too. And if we can do that together, i.e., the imperfect yoga, deep stretching, then we all can find at least a little bit more peace within our mind, bodies, and spirits. So, what I would like to offer you is the opportunity to see things maybe from a different point of view. Like, if I'm going to do, something on this mat that requires a bit of my concentration and presence, I want to do it the way that it feels good. And also sometimes the way it doesn't feel as great. And it's not necessarily intended to break you, but there are times where you can find yourself in a really deep stretch, and maybe there are parts of your body that do hurt. How about take a breath, literally? That's where we're at on the mat, that's why we're here. And breathe into it a little bit deeper and relax as much as you can, each muscle where you feel it with the breath. So, for instance, I can't really show you physically where the breath is at in my body, but I can try my best to describe what the sensation is like. If you're feeling maybe a little tense, or maybe like a little intimidated to get on a yoga mat, I would suggest start with really simple things like where I just was at to what I'm doing now, and breathe into the space. And right now, when I breathe, I'm kind of like feeling, of course, where my breath is at, but wherever I'm tense in my body. So right now, I'm really tense in my lower back and my hips, and that's why I'm finding myself on the mat today. More specifically, just needing to find myself on the mat because I haven't found myself on the mat in a really long time. But when I'm breathing in, I can feel that this area is tense. So I'm going to mentally imagine my breath when I'm breathing in. I'm breathing in that space. So it's opening it up just a little bit more so I can maybe get a little bit deeper. And already I feel much deeper, but then when I go deeper, I feel it somewhere else. And that's just maybe just a concept to consider in life in general, where maybe you do feel tense. Like, how can you relax a little bit more into that situation, circumstance, or experience that allows you to be a little bit more present so that you aren't in a state of maybe reaction or frustration or whatever is coming up for you at that time. And then you can be present with it in the sense that, like, I can just receive it and observe it. And if it requires more energy, then I can, because I am breathing through it, I can take a moment to assess, okay, I can do this again and then again and then again, right? All the yogis out there would have probably something to say about what I'm saying, but I think in relative terms, all of this should relate and correlate to the experience of yoga. But again, I kind of like to get my mind out of the relation to saying yoga per se, because when I think about yoga, I think about a full on deep dive and session with it, which is always beautiful. And those in particular are so much more impactful when you're like being led by somebody or like a group, or you're watching a YouTube video and somebody's like guiding you through it and kind of holding your hand through it. I think it's so magical. When I'm by myself, I find it easier for me to think about, oh, I'm just going to my mat to stretch, which feels really good to me because I do enjoy a good stretch. So maybe that helps, maybe it doesn't. Oh, just twist my back. Oh, deep breath here. And then I release, and I like to wiggle out my leg a little bit. Oh, it feels so good. Open it up. And twist. And the breath really generally, usually, helps you open up, like I said, a lot more. So even like in that twist, when I took a deep breath, I was at first a little like tense or stifled in that position, stuck in that position. And then when I released and I could release into it, I could turn a lot easier. Like my flexion was more or less tense. And I think also too, while I'm here talking about all of this, is like, because it doesn't have to be perfect. Let me look at me trying to find my map. It doesn't have to be perfect. But again, I'm feeling the spots within, like right now, this is the exact spot where I've been feeling so intense today that otherwise I I need to find on my own. So I'm going to sit here and kind of like just feel where it feels good for me to rest for a second, for a couple moments rather. Just move around in what other ways feel really good. And just trust myself. Trusting yourself's huge. It's big. Probably the biggest part of it. And you know your limits. You don't want to pop out your knee socket or anything. I also think that that speaks to a lot of our fears too, because I think a lot of us have so many fears and worries in that something's going to happen. But guess what? it's your body and you know how far you can go. And I don't think you would ever let yourself do something that would cause you physical harm, at least for the majority of us. And um, yeah, as much as we are all pretty aware of our limits, gives you the opportunity to like embrace maybe where you used to be limited and maybe where you're not so limited anymore and giving yourself the opportunity to find that out. Ooh, yeah, that's intense. Slippery. And then some poses really truly are honestly pretty comfortable. um, yeah. So before I get too much into this, because I want to do an even more deeper stretch without like having to speak, I'm just gonna leave that right there and then catch you on the flip side with more of maybe my sitting at my desk and talking about more other stuff. So, anyway. Here we go again. You're catching me with another review. Look at that. Amazing, right? These are pine berries. White strawberries. It's just a different type of strawberry, but me and Greg attempted to grow these once. And not we failed miserably, but we definitely did not do great. And I think because we had them in a different plot where we weren't able to take care of them like we could have. And then also it then ran into out of season. Like I was so confused by the whole experience. But regardless, I see that the store has had them, and I'm pretty sure they're out of season unless they grow in a different season. These particularly grow in a different season, so may or may not be like that great for you because they're probably some sort of genetically modified. But I will say the flavor is I don't know, somewhat acidic. Not like bad, but it's definitely sweet, but more acidic than I think a regular strawberry. And you can't quite tell the difference. Not really. Not really. I think I would give pine berries a solid 9. Or a solid 9. I know. All the things that I said before that made you think that I wasn't going to say that, but guess what? I like them. And I would probably have more in the future. Go out and get you some pine berries. I think you would like them. If you like strawberries and you're into fruit and things that surprise you, you'll probably like them. Any user, I just wanted to share a little bit about my stretching journey that I just had, which was great. It did make me feel better, and I'm glad that I did it. So here's your sign to do something that you know you would really enjoy and would make you feel better after it, and that you know you would be better because of it after you've done it. So just do it. And as long as it's safe for you and for others, I support you. And yeah, I just wanted to touch back on how it's a big trust factor there. Knowing what your body wants, what you're feeling that you need, and actually going towards the thing that equates to you feeling better, or that it helps in some sort of way, or that aids in a greater mind, body, spirit, wellness, balance.
Sorry, what was that again?
Sorry, my partner is so loud. Excuse that. But anyway, I have a juice here that I made too. I'm gonna rinse some of those seeds out of my mouth. But yeah, and trusting yourself, trusting myself, you will end up feeling better because of it, and I do. So good for me, good for you. And I'm here for more of these adventures and expressing more of them with you. And if you like stuff like this, then continue to watch, subscribe, and ignore the man in the background. And I always touch my hair because now that it's short, still like trying to figure out what I don't know. Not that it has to like look amazing, because like it does already, but sometimes it's just touching it. But anyway, I digress. So that is my little ramble schmamble for the day, and I think before I ramble schmamble anymore and lose you, I'm gonna cut it at that. So thank you for being a part of this experience. Thank you for holding the line for me as I journey through this endeavor and challenge and experiment. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Namaste.